Hello, Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV. And today we're going to dive into a hefty concept. The concept that pendulums need you to adhere to their standards so they can continue to extract what they need from you to keep their swing going, right? The big lie. The big lie is the name of the lesson. It is the lie that something is not right with you and you need to raise your level of something to match some ambiguous standard of somebody or something else, and keep yourself in a place of inferiority and feeling as though you're lagging behind and you need to do something and all of that stuff. And really when we put ourselves or we maintain that position for an extended period of time, we end up telling our mirror messages of inferiority and obviously getting back more of the same, which is not ideal. Before I get started, remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers and Reality 2.0 teachable course down below, y'all. Check it out. And the Facebook group, join the Facebook group, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will get started. Before I start, let me just say really quickly, wildfires are still really bad here, so I am sniffly. I was almost not going to film today, but I will tolerate the smoke if you guys can tolerate me being sniffly. That being said, let's get into it. So, the big lie. You can look back on older stuff, like older books and older movies, and realize that this isn't a new thing, right? This isn't a new thing. We have been exposed to much more of this this pushy kind of information because of social media, I think, telling us, oh, you need to be like this, or if you don't have this, something's wrong, or your level of this should be like this at this age, or you aren't doing it right, or something like that. But if you look back in history, you can look at old movies from the 50s, standards of pendulums when it came to wealth or appearance. You can look back on old literature like The Grapes of Wrath, or some kind of message where there are people striving to reach some standard of something, right? It is nothing new. Pendulums have always used standards to get us or try to get us to adhere. But I think now with the way that we are in the age of information, there's the internet, there's social media, Netflix, all this kind of stuff, we're just bombarded so much with images and messages of standards that we all sort of try to keep up to make sure that we're doing it right. And this is faulty for a number of reasons. Primarily, when you're focused on what's not right with you, you are going to just create more of the same in your external environment. Focusing on what is right with you, you will create more of the same in your external environment. Also, we don't want to get into a habit of projecting to our mirror a feeling of being less than or inferior or some other sort of lacking stance of how we view ourselves, because then we're just going to be resonating on that that is the lifeline that we are going to create. And I know all of this stuff. I mean, I'll get into my little drawing here in a moment, but what I'm going to be explaining, I have experienced from both positions. I have experienced, and I'm not trying to say don't strive to have money, love, a good lifestyle, people's opinions to be high of you, an attractive appearance. I'm not saying don't strive for that stuff. But what I am saying is, if you're going to strive for these things, create your own measurements, right? You quantify those things yourself. You don't let others or pendulums quantify them for you. And you do these things for yourself from a place of what you set as being the healthy level, right? As opposed to doing it because you're trying to adhere to a standard that a pendulum has created, not you. So getting into this, we have two characters here, right? We have the character that's convinced that something's not right. What's wrong with me? Why don't I have the money? Why don't I have the relationship or the lifestyle? Why don't people have super high opinions of me or don't really notice me? And what about my appearance? Something's wrong with the way that I look. I'm, this weight instead of this weight, or whatever it is. How can I change? And I'll go into these more deeply. What can I buy to make it better? I want to be like them. So you've got this character that is really basing what it is they obtain from a position of an external standard that maybe doesn't match up, right? And then you have this other character over here, we'll call him Mr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so that you don't know, and he's got these high levels, right? Or perceived high levels. So, and he says, you don't know me, but I'm perfect. So this is the big lie here. The big lie is that, first of all, something is wrong with you, because if you look at these, and this is just an example, I know there's a lot other things that we judge ourselves on what our levels are, but just from this stuff here, looking at yourself in comparison to Mr. So-and-so, and saying, oh, Mr. So-and-so seemingly has way more of this stuff than I do, and he's better than me, right? So again, this is just a perception, and the reason that it's so dangerous to be in this position as opposed to this position is this person here is trying to convince that they have their stuff going on, right? So maybe it looks as though they have money, but you never know. They could be in a tremendous amount of debt to give that appearance that they have money. Maybe they have a relationship that looks very beautiful on the outside, but then there's horrible dysfunction on the inside, and they're trying to hold it all together to give the appearance, right? This is a very classic, keeping up with the neighbor, trying to keep your appearance of what it is you have going on very clear to others, that you are doing life well, right? The lifestyle, the opinions of others, the appearance. Now here's the problem with this. Not only what they have may be a facade, an illusion, but this person here is going to expend an extreme amount of energy trying to keep the appearance of what they have up. Okay, and I know this from my own personal experience. When I lived in Los Angeles, I was constantly trying to adhere to the standards of pendulums, and I did break myself. I did break myself trying to not only keep up with the standards, but to keep up with the illusion that I was giving others, because if I fell below what others perceived me to have, my self-esteem would plummet, and I was just at the constant mercy of trying to appease the pendulum, right? So here with this guy, the danger in being this guy, the what's wrong with me, why aren't my levels matching up with Mr. So-and-so's levels? So this will keep you in a place of feeling as though you are inferior. Again, we talked about that earlier. Showing your mirror that something's wrong with you, therefore your mirror will reflect back to you more opportunities for you to view yourself as something, you know, not being right or being off balance, or your levels not being adequate. It'll keep you in a place of how can I change? Pendulums love if you feel you need to change, because then you are very, very exploitable, you are very vulnerable, and you can be persuaded easily to do something. This is a huge one. What can I buy to make it better? So if you say, oh, my lifestyle's not right? My appearance isn't right. What can pendulums sell you to bring your levels up? So you become a consumer, essentially. And I want to be like them. Again, this has to do with the levels. This has to do with the levels at which you want to bring up so you can match somebody else's level. But remember, the other person's level might not even be real, and most likely it isn't. So how I'm going to conclude this video is really try to figure out where you may be doing some of this judging stuff of your levels of something compared to a standard presented to you by a pendulum, or maybe specifically another person, and really start to ask yourself, is my intention to have that thing a pure intention that belongs to me, or is it something that I'm trying to adhere to satisfy that pendulum? And in doing this, you can start to set your own standards for yourself, where you're not using all that energy to try to keep yourself in a position of looking like you are maintaining a standard, right? I think that's the easiest way for me to say it. And just like with my examples of me being both, right? I've been this one, I've been this one. These really end up being the same. That's the funny thing, because in order to get to this place where you have the standards high, you've spent all the money, you've done all the stuff, you've tried to be like other people, you've been consistently asking what's wrong with me, how do I get this perfect life, right? How can I change? And then now, what I have now and the standards that I try to adhere to now are standards created by me, by my heart and mind coordination, and what I feel is intended for me. And in doing this, I really cut that cord of being open to pendulums. You know, I don't go clothes shopping very often. I think it's probably been a couple years since I've bought any clothes. So even though I'm on social media and I see this stuff, I'm not affected by it. I'm not overly influenced. Now, I do have my own things that I like to try to maintain and standards for myself. But again, those are in line with who I am. And if the level goes up or down, I'm definitely not sucked into a place where I'm comparing, because I'm the one that set the standard. So there's a lot of liberty, there's a lot of freedom in you setting the standards for yourself and really cutting that line, that open line, that open energy line that pendulums will use to extract from you things that will further its own swing, right? I hope I'm saying this correctly. This is a very, very complex topic, and I'm sure you're getting what I'm talking about, but let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on this one, everybody. Let me know, are you doing some kind of unhealthy measurement right now in your reality? Are you telling yourself that you need to have something that you don't have, and if you don't have it, then something's wrong with you? Or are you going after the things that are intended for you in a healthy way, knowing that if the levels fluctuate, it does not translate to a lowering of your self-esteem or something like that, something else undesirable. Remember to like this video and comment below, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching my video, everyone. Bye.